Hello and welcome to the Common Corner. I am back for another Sunday. The week seemed to go by really quickly and I always just find myself sitting here on a Sunday and having a good catch up with you guys, and it's honestly one of the best parts of my week because it gives me an introspection, I would say, and that is so valuable to me. But yes, okay, let's address first things first. I am back in my usual common corner, the original common corner in my room. And actually, let me close the window. There we go, because I was noticing there's some sounds coming from outside. But it is really nice because it is now, I would say, officially summer. Obviously, we're past the summer solstice that took place a few days ago. So it is officially summer and London is very much behaving according to that, and it is hot. It is hot in here. So even though right now like the sky is kind of partly cloudy, as you can see from my weather tag here, it is still really warm, so I like to work with my window open right next to me. But for the sake of the video, I'll keep it closed so that we don't get any unwanted noises from the outside. Okay, it is about a bit past 4 p.m. on the Sunday afternoon. I'm filming a bit later than usual because I am in the middle of exam season. My first exam is on Friday, and thank you to everyone who has wished me good luck on my exams. Honestly, I don't even know how to tell you how valuable that support is to me. I really do feel like I have many of you cheering me on behind your screen. So really big thank you for that. I feel greatly supported, and that is always so helpful. Okay. So yes, I'm filming a bit later than usual, so apologies if my brain is a bit mushy and the sentences don't flow as nicely as per usual, but still this part of my day is crucial to me. So even if I'm a bit tired after the long day of study, I am excited to sit down with you guys. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that your summer is treating you nice and calm, even though it is a bit hot, especially here in the UK. But wherever you are, I hope that you're cozy and comfortable. Alright, so let's, I guess, jump into today's video. There's already a little bit of a sneak peek here on this side of my book. So, as I mentioned in last week's video, I was awaiting a very special parcel which would contain my first fountain pen. It arrived on Tuesday, so I've now had almost a week of testing it out. And I would like to dedicate this first part of the video to my common pen. I named it according to my common corner. I have a common printer and now I have a common pen. And usually I don't name my pens, but this is just something so special that I feel like it really needed a name. So yes. Her name is the common pen. I'll be referring it to as that, but we'll go through the details of this pen before we switch to completely calling it the common pen. And then last week I wanted to show you some updates in my commonplace book, which has been progressing quite slowly because I don't have a lot of time on my hands at the moment to work on my books past the daily pages. So it has been progressing quite slowly, but I still wanted to kind of show you what it's looking like because we'll be taking it with us into the kind of quote-unquote new system. The system itself won't change, but my book is changing from one avec to the next half year's avec. So I just wanted to give you an update on the commonplace book and how it's looking like before we move on to changing avecs. And then, of course, as per usual, we go through the pages of the last week. So from last Sunday until this Sunday, I will show what my daily pages are looking like. Okay, so first and foremost, my fingers are inked. That is just a sneak peek of how much I've been using this pen, is that my fingers are inky. Because I was cleaning it out a bit and then I got some ink on my fingers and it does stain a little bit, but it's not too bad. Also, it's hot, so there's a bit more moistness in my hands than usual. Apologies for the kind of mental image of that, but you know what happens when it's really hot and you're trying to work inside and it's just everything's a bit humid, I would say, but okay. This is my first ever fountain pen. I have mentioned it previously that I wouldn't, that I would try not to get into fountain pens because first of all, I was a bit nervous of like, would I be able to know how to use it and change out the inks and etc. And I had been feeling like, oh, I don't want to spend a lot of money on like inks and this kind of thing. But with all of that said in the past, with the first like stroke of this pen, I fell in love with it. It is the KawecoSport fountain pen in, I think it's the burgundy color, and it has the golden embossing here, the golden finish, as well as the golden nib. There we go. Here she is in all of its beauty. Yes, and the pen came with the fine nib. I got it secondhand. Shout out to you. You know who you are. Oh, I think it's not a secret. Actually, I mentioned it in last week's video. Hi, Alex. Thank you so much for this pen. I am eternally grateful that you passed it on to me. So here we are. Yes, so I got it secondhand. It came with the fine nib, which I'm actually very much enjoying because it is extremely similar in size to my 0.5 black Muji pen, which you do not currently see inside because I still didn't get it back from leaving it at my partner's place. I have forgotten to ask for it or ask him to bring it back to me because I have been using this to write every single day ever since I got it last Tuesday. So I think that shows you how much I have really been enjoying it. Let's go through the details of it. Or well, we've gone through the details of it, but let's... yes, I want to show you kind of how it writes because it's very interesting. This is just standard Muji paper, recycled paper from Muji, and their paper is quite soft and scratchy. Like it's really soft paper, but the feedback of it is quite scratchy, which is different to the Tomo River paper, which is a lot more smoother in texture, but also I feel like the paper itself is like harder. I don't know if that makes sense, but it doesn't like, it doesn't, how to say it, with the softer paper, it really like sucks in the ink. So if I press on here, it really like does like a really thick line because it really, someone will tell me the word for this, but it really like takes in the ink and it kind of spreads a little bit, but still you can get a really lovely fine line. I have been watching so many fountain pen videos since last Tuesday, so what they always do, they do a little like this kind of mark and then like this and then like just like a really fine coloring just to show that it kind of doesn't skip and the line is really consistent and it is just beautiful to write with. Of course, normally you would put this on it, and the weight is light, is very light in my hand. I know that there's a few Kaweco like brass pens, for example, which are a lot more heavier to hold, but this is a very good starter pen, I have been told. And I agree, it is really, really nice to hold in my hand. And it was really easy to fill up with the ink. I am currently using the Kaweco cartridges of ink, so, and yeah, I have been writing a lot this past week, and I don't even know how much of the ink has gone because you can't really see through it, but it has not run out of ink yet. I thought it was going to run out a lot quicker. I don't know if anyone knows how long these cartridges usually last if you use it every single day, for example, to write a couple of pages, because in addition, oh my gosh, I'm talking really fast, sorry about that. In addition to writing my daily pages, I've also been using this pen to study. So I've been writing some notes, some medical school related notes with it as well. So it has really been in good use for the past week. And I think I was thinking about it in one of my daily pages that I will continue using this pen for the rest of this avec. So there's not a lot of pages left in this avec. About 6 pages left until we get to next Sunday, and that is the end of this book. And I have changed pens already, I think 3 times while I've been in this book. I started out with having the Pilot Friction pen in 0.7 millimeters, and I then changed to the Muji black ink pen. I think it's a gel ink, I'm not sure, but the Muji 0.7 black pen. And then I realized that that is just a bit too thick for me, and it wasn't really writing well on this paper. It was skipping a lot, and yeah, it just wasn't working very well. Whereas the 0.5 pen in red was working really well. So I changed the black pen to the 0.7 as well. So that's already 3 changes so far, or like 2 changes, kind of 3 pens in one book. So I thought it doesn't really hurt for me to then change my pen again, to just trial, really give this fountain pen a good like test run, if that makes sense. So keep writing with it for the next week or so, see if I identify any problems with it and so on. But if not, I might continue using this pen in my next avec as well. I do notice that I am sometimes a bit scared about like smudging the ink, because I think it's a water-based ink, so it's not a gel ink, obviously. So I think if I am at point working on something that I really cannot smudge, I might just do that line with the Muji pen in black. Because if we compare this page, for example, to when I was still using the black Muji pen here, there's really not a big difference, except maybe the Muji pen is just a little bit more fine, a little bit thinner in terms of the writing. But other than that, in terms of the color, there's not a big difference. My handwriting does also look a little bit different with it, but my handwriting changes anyway, so yeah. Or maybe we should change the, like here for example, like there's not a huge difference. So even if I would sometimes switch for a little bit to writing with my Muji pen in 0.5, the black ink, it wouldn't change a lot in terms of how it looks. But I am really, oh my gosh, the sun. All right, now we're getting a lovely shadow here. Let me actually draw my curtain so that we can get rid of that really harsh line there. Yes, so those are my thoughts in terms of the pen, and I'll take you through the pages that I've been writing with it as well. But I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot, and a lot of you have been saying welcome to the rabbit hole. Thank you very much. I identified myself as having fallen into the rabbit hole indeed, and I'm very excited to indulge in it just a little bit by going to the Stationery Fest next Saturday and seeing if they have any fun fountain pen stands there. Yes, so for any of you who are in the UK at the moment and enjoy books and stationery and journals as much as I do, there is a Stationery Fest taking place next Saturday in Manchester, and the tickets for just the Stationery Fest itself are very affordable. And simultaneously in the same building there's a journal fest and a planner fest taking place as well, which is a very, very brilliant and like inclusive event that has a lot of kind of speakers, people who are like who do this kind of thing for a living, coming there to talk, and a lot of fun activities. And I've heard that they're even giving out a goodie bag for everyone that's full of stationery, if you get the tickets to the planner fest or the journal fest. So just to let you guys know that that is happening, and that I'm gonna go to the Stationery Fest, which is just the kind of hall that's full of stands of independent kind of sellers, I guess, sellers of stationery and journals and planners, etc. So I'll be going there, and I know that a few of you are coming as well, a few of my regular viewers, and I am really excited to meet a lot of new people there, and some of my kind of online community. It will be really, really exciting and fun. But yes, okay, so I will be giving you another update on my fountain pen thoughts next Sunday, I think. So yeah, okay. Okay, while we're still on the topic of pens, I guess, I did a little post when I received this pen on my community tab here in YouTube, where I asked you what is your ride or die writing utensil. And I got so many responses. Thank you for that. That was very useful for my research, because I'm thinking that for the next half a year, while I think I will continue to write with this pen in my daily pages, I might be doing a bit of testing over a couple of different pens. And there was a lot of people saying that they use gel pens, and I've never myself tried a gel pen. I think I've just tried a ballpoint pen, although I'm not sure if the Muji pens in black are considered gel pens or not. So I really want to do some research into that field, and yeah, just wanted to let you guys know, and thank you for those responses. I am slowly going through them and adding them to my research list of pens to look at. So yes, anyway, okay, that is that, but I'll be mentioning this still a couple of times. Let's go to my commonplace book. As per usual, my commonplace book lives at the back of this cover. Yes, so there we go. Let's take her out. I think I didn't show you that I finally, after like a month of being in this book, I finally wrote a little welcome in this first page. When I was setting up this book in a video, I only had set up the key as well as these pictures here, but I hadn't kind of had the courage to write a nice welcome into this book. So I did that the other day, a couple weeks ago actually, but I haven't had a chance to show you my book ever since then. So now when you open the book, it just looks very nice and ready, if that makes sense, ready to use. So yes. And I mentioned in that video all the details of how I used to decorate it. So if you're curious, do go to that one. I think it's just called Setting Up a New Commonplace Book, something along those lines. Then next I have my index, which I'm always running a couple pages behind, but I don't really use the index when I'm in the book. I more so use the index if this book is finished and I find it and I come back to it to check what is inside of it. I go through this to find what I'm looking for. My reading log has progressed just a little bit, but the thing is that I have been in a bit of a reading slump, I think just because of how really busy this academic year has been. And yeah, so this book was started on in April, 1st of April. So these are the books that I've read since April, which is kind of sad to think about because it's not many. So I finished this Patti Smith tiny book in April, which was really lovely. And then I went away to France and I started reading this book by Hemingway, as well as this book by Murakami, which I was going to reread, Colorless Tokuro Tataki and His Years of Pilgrimage. I've read it once before and I started to reread it, and I really love it. That's why I wanted to reread it for comfort. But then I left it at my friend's place, so now they have both been paused, which I have marked here. And I think during summertime I'm gonna pick up both of them, because this is a really good read for summer, and then this is just comfort. And actually the character visits Finland in this book, so, and I will also be going to Finland during summer, so I think I'm gonna take that with me there. And then at the moment, as I mentioned last time, and you can even see it here, I'm currently ongoingly reading M-Train by Patti Smith, and I am taking it very slowly because it's a very good book and it's just the comfort now during this exam season. Here I have my books to read. I haven't read a lot of books as I mentioned, and I had somehow noted down M-Train twice as a book I wanted to read. So I'm glad I'm reading the one that I've at least marked down twice. And whenever I'm kind of reading it, or I know that I'm gonna finish the book, I mark it over with this red pen. I wanted to mark it with red pen rather than black pen, because I feel like black pen seems like it's been crossed out, like you don't want to read it or something like that. But red is like, I don't know, for me red pen is always used afterwards. When I make a note or edit something, I do it in red pen. Red for me is a very neutral, beautiful color, rather than maybe some people think of red pen as like, you know, teachers used to mark tests with red pen, so red pen is might be like linked to something negative maybe, because they would mark it with red pen, and yeah. But for me, red pen is just, it's neutral. It's another tool to write with, and it just works for me so well to do my edits basically. So yeah, that's there. And then I have my movies to watch as well, and I need to actually update this. I definitely need to update this a little bit, but the same thing goes here, that yeah, so why I need to update it is because there's a couple of more movies that are on my radar list. And here, yes, I also do a red line once I've watched that movie. All right, so my words to keep on oranges you've already seen, as well as this finished coffee page. And that's what I actually wanted to show you, is that now I've done my coffee culture number 1. It's a page about coffee culture, and coffee culture in London specifically. So I keep a list of cafes that I visit or revisit, and cafes that I really like. And I write it here all, so that when I'm looking for a cafe to go to on a Sunday afternoon, for example, I can go to these pages and pick one that I like. Because sometimes I just forget that certain cafes exist, even though I really like them. So that's there for me. And I have my little home cafe in the corner here. And I made coffee culture number 2 recently as well, which is just here. So I keep a little sticky note here of cafes that I want to try, and so that I can like kind of then take this off. But it's cafes that I want to try, and once I've actually tried them, I will make a very similar list as to here. And this is the most recent one, the recent new cafe that I've tried. I think there's 2 cafes I want to add here as well. And I'm excited because I really enjoyed how this is looking like, and I use it quite often actually. So yes, it's very nice. Then here is my film list. I think I showed this to you as well, or film review rather than a list. I did show this earlier as well, but it's just really nice to flip through it. This spread is focusing specifically on movies by Aki Kaurismäki, 2 of them, and they're the 2 that I watched first, the first 2 movies that I watched from this director, and they are very much quite enjoyable, so I have wanted to make a whole spread on it. Here, this page is going to be incomplete for a while, because whenever I'm reading a book, I keep a list of quotes from that book on one page, and this page is dedicated to Colorless Tokuro Tatake and His Years of Pilgrimage by Murakami. But as I said earlier, I have forgotten that book at my friend's place. So let's open up my curtain again so that we can get a bit more light in here, because the sun has gone into the clouds again. I should have realized that earlier. I hope it wasn't too dark just now. Yes, so I won't be able to finish this for a while until I get my book back from my friend. Here are just the completed details of my mini printer, my common printer that I showed to you earlier, this one here. And it was a big moment for me to actually get my first ever printer, because I've never owned a printer at home, so even a mini printer was a big deal, and I wanted to include it here. Then there's just some beautiful words of affirmation that I get from you, the Common Corner community, and I like to keep them down, so that whenever I get a little bit maybe self-conscious about my work and what I want to show, I just go back to these quotes and remind myself that that I am appreciated. I don't know how to really put it into a way that doesn't sound I don't know, so that it doesn't come out wrong. But basically sometimes I'm not very confident with my work, so the support that I get from anyone in the comments means a lot to me, so I write down some of it just to encourage me again to keep doing what I really love doing. So yes, this was actually from a gift bag from the Moomin shop in Helsinki. I know that I'm repeating myself a little bit because I've shown you this before, but I just always like acknowledging it when I get to it. Is this the next page? Yes. So then I have my sentences to keep section. I usually number these, but I think I haven't made my next sentences to keep. But I actually have. Yes, I need to number them. We can actually do that right now. Even if I didn't use this pen on this page, but it's okay. So let's do number 1. There we go. I just love the sound of this cap going back on. Ah, yes. So, oh no, wait, did I already have? I'm just thinking about, oh, okay, I had words to keep on oranges. Okay, so this is not related to my sentences to keep. Yes, so whenever I need to just collect quotes, that's what a lot of commonplacing is for, is to collect text from other people. When they're short texts, I don't want to use a whole page just for that one short text. So I have a section in my commonplace that is always marked by this gray dot, which means that it's words from other people. And I label that page sentences to keep. So here I have something really random, and actually all of this is in Finnish. But yes, something really random, but something I want to return back to. So I keep them all here. And then I think I have another sentences to keep later on, which we're going to label as number 2. I have a little section on Traveler's Notebook Company, or Traveler's Company. I bought a few items from them a couple of weeks ago that I did a haul on. I think it's in the title of the video, Traveler's Notebook, so you can go find the things that I bought from there. But I have been thinking about it a lot, and I need to write down my words about it. I've been thinking about the Traveler's system a lot, the size of it, the kind of cover options, and how customizable the system of a Traveler's Notebook is. And it's something that I do want to try, although as time goes on, I somehow fall more and more in love with my Hobonichi books. So it is at this point kind of unlikely that I will completely move my system over to Traveler's Notebook, but it's just something I want to try, and I think I might be able to try it with a very low cost as well, but I will catch you up on that in a few weeks time, I think. But yes, I just like how this paint turned out, and I made this little kind of mini page showcasing the brass clip. I just cut this out from the packaging that the brass clip came in, so this clip that you can see over here, and I just put it here, and I think it looks quite cute. Coffee culture number 2. And then I have another page collecting quotes from the book that I'm reading. So right now it's M Train by Patti Smith. I might need to make another page for collecting words from this book, because it's only page 115 and I've already filled a whole page. So yes. And then in this one, I've been enjoying using this pencil. I don't usually use pencil unless it is to kind of for a very specific sketching reason. And I use this pencil to sketch out my school panda figurine. And I think after my exams are finished, maybe even I might wait until I get my exam results back. And if I pass all the exams, I want to buy another figurine. And I hopefully, because they're surprise boxes, I hopefully will get a different one. And I will be able to then sketch a photo of that here as well. So then I'll have 2 school panda figurines side by side, and I think it will be really cute. I kind of like how the pencil looks next to the pen ink as well. Oh yes, sentences to keep. Number 2. This page is not completed yet because I'm going to be doing a little page on this movie by, I can't remember the director's name, Yorgos Lanthimos. Poor Things. A lot of you might recognize it. It was quite a big thing when it came out, and I want to do some writing about it because both Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos, they have another film coming out in a week, a bit less than a week. So before I go see that film, I want to do some writing about Poor Things, and then also write about the new film. What is it called? It has a really peculiar name. I forgot what it's called, but yes. Also in this page, because I usually like to keep these sentences to keep pages really minimal, I just have my little, it's not an index, but not an index, it's not a margin, because I have a margin always on the side, but rather a line to show where I want to write on the 2 columns, so a column marker, if you will, and a little sticker from Alex Thomas Creative. Okay, the world of fountain pens. This needs to be marked with a red dot of things to remember. Let me go to here. I think I might have a red dot in this little pouch that I keep in the front of my cover. By the way, there has always been a lot of questions about my cover, and I will remember to put it down in the description, because a lot of people always ask me about it. So it's the Kokuyo Systemic cover in black. So I'm just gonna put it in the description as well, in case anyone is looking for it. Cover name in video description. I also enjoy, first of all, writing down the agenda here, but also if I need to make any notes during the video, I can do it here. But yes, so when I received this pen, I made a page about it, of course. It was important enough for me to write about fountain pens in my commonplace book, because if it was just a little journal entry that I just needed some more space for, I would put it in my Hobonichi journal, that I don't have it with me right now. I think it's in my bag. But this needed a commonplace entry. So, as I mentioned, it's the KawecoSport fine nib, and Alex kindly sent me some inks for it as well, ink cartridges, and they happen to be the Kaweco ink in black pearl color, and I really enjoy it. It's a really dark black color, so it works for me quite well. I like the contrast of it on the page as well. So yes, no complaints there. And even if I don't continue using this, I decided that I would definitely use it for my letter writing, because it is really good to write when you're writing for a long period of time. It fits well in my hand, and my wrist doesn't get like kind of painful or anything like that. So I will definitely be writing my letters in this pen, and I think I just have always dreamed about writing letters with a fountain pen. I think there's just something very analog TM about that, like something very historical about writing letters in a fountain pen. So yes, I've been loving to draw it. You will also see this drawing in my daily pages, and I just did a little zoom into the nib and just basically wrote about how I came to buy this pen, what I've been thinking about it, first thoughts, and what I think about it, using it in the future as well. And that is basically it for my commonplace book so far. Quite a varied amount of entries, like varied types of entries, but the one thing that I'm most looking forward to is just using it more once my exams are kind of finished and I just have time to think and write about my interests. So yes, but I promised to show it to you last week, but I didn't have the chance, so here we go. That's that for this week. All right, so the third part of the agenda today is to go through the flip through. So let's go back to, okay, before going back, let me just change this Midori brass clip. No, not brass. Steel, I think it's steel, but it's the Midori clips that a lot of people do use, and I like mine in silver. Actually, that was the one thing about this pen that I was writing about, is that the detailing is gold, and usually I love all of my stationery to be like not very colorful. As you can notice, even with my cover, it's a black cover, just because it's a good canvas for everything else. So even having this in a burgundy color, I love it though, because it's kind of like a dark muted color, so it's good. But I think if I were to buy this from a store where I had all the options, I would probably go for the black one. And with a silver nib and silver finishing as well. However, I am enjoying kind of this branching out, and even here you can see some of my golden paper clips. So I don't always use everything in silver, but it is a preference that I have. But yes, okay. Moving on from that, let's go back to last Sunday. This is not last Sunday. This is last Sunday. And it seems like this is one of the things that I need to backfill. Is this seriously last Sunday, or is it... I'm confused. No, this is last Sunday. Okay. That's what I was thinking. The 16th was the last Sunday. I think I didn't show you this page in last week's video because it ended up being quite long, and I didn't really have time to then do a journal with me section to the video to show you how I finished this page. But here it is. Not much there. I didn't do much that day other than just enjoyed talking to you guys, and then did some studying and booked tickets to Finland and Hong Kong for the rest of the summer, basically. Yes. Here is Monday. I spent the entire day in the library. And I love to go in afterwards and tick off the things that I've done. I have a daily to-do list here at the top using the boxes that Hobonichi gives you automatically at the top. And sometimes even if I do the tasks from the day, I forgot to tick them off, and I really love putting an X on them afterwards. This is very satisfying. Yes, so I think on Monday all I had done was this bit. I had a busy and long day studying. So then the next day I went in with red ink, actually, which is a little bit unusual that I do a whole backfilling section in red ink only. But I did that, and I enjoy it, because I think it was the previous week that I had also done a whole section in red ink because I had lost my Muji pen in black momentarily. So I enjoy that, yeah. And I had put a little old photo that I had left over from my mini printer just here, because it was kind of quite a self-reflective text. So I put a little mirror selfie there as well. Okay, then the next page, basically everything that I've been writing about in this this past week has been about exams and revision and how I'm feeling about it and so on. So I think that the content of this is the same as well. And I just have a little self-affirmation here that I look forward to passing my exams this year. Yes. And the only kind of thing to remark on this page is this sticker. I found it coincidentally when going through some of my old notebooks last weekend. And this is a sticker that I actually... This is a sticker that I had actually made myself 5 years ago or something like that. And the design was kind of... The idea of the design was from my friends. And at the time we were kind of this really neat group of people, and all good friends, and we called ourselves the Streebers. I forgot where that name came from. I think, yes, I need to double check from one of my friends who came up with the name. It had a very peculiar explanation that I loved, and we all fell in love with the name Streebers. And we did a interrailing tour around Europe. So we took the train to different countries around Europe, and we had made these stickers so that we can put them in every country that we go, like to somewhere random. And yeah, so it's just kind of one of my portrait figurines. So I usually draw my portraits in a very similar style. And I used to especially do them with a really long neck. I don't know why, that was something that I really liked. So I just drew one of them and we made it into a sticker. And I didn't think I had any more of them, but I found one of them randomly at the back of my old notebook. So I put it here, and it's all the way from 2019 or something like that. And I don't know, I think that notebooks are a place of archival, and that's why I call my whole journey one of analog archiving. And meanwhile, where I was like, oh, but I can just leave that sticker at the back of that book, I was like, maybe I will just put it in here so that at least when I'm flipping through my book, I will see it and I will appreciate it, and it will bring me some good memories. So even though it's not related to anything from that day, it's there as a good reminder to me. Actually, no, there was actually something very, very important. Wait a minute, when was it? Well, anyway, one of the friends that was in this friend group actually got into their dream university after trying for a few years, and she called me, I think it was this Tuesday, or then it might have been the Thursday. I cannot remember which one it was, but it does not matter. Anyway, it was during this week. So in a way, it's a nice reminder of those two things coming together. I'm going to shut my curtain again because it's going to get really bright. Or actually, no, it's fine because the sun has moved and there's no more that harsh line. Yeah, so it's a good reminder of my friend and how long we've been friends for. Now she's been working on her dream for a long time. And she finally achieved it. And I'm so proud of her for that. So, Saga, if you're watching, hello. Congrats again. Yeah. So in a way, I guess it does have a resemblance, but I just didn't know it at the time when I pasted this sticker here. Alright. Then Wednesday is when the paint finally arrived. It arrived more in the evening, so I didn't really have a chance to make the whole page about it. But I did write here, New Fountain Pen Day. And that same evening I drew it on the other side of the paper, or on the other side of the spread, and I just really loved drawing this pen. It's beautiful, and I like how the cap sits at the top. It's a bit like kind of, I really like the shape of the cap as well, like kind of that I don't know what this is called. It's kind of one of those, like one of those bolt screws, but yes. So I drew that here. So my Wednesday and Thursday was very much lived in the headspace of this pen. Yes, let me once again write that I've done my tasks. Because, oh yes, so sometimes I go through, at the end of the week, I go through the task lists that I've written for the entire week. So I go through all of them. And I just make sure that I've done them, because sometimes there's some very time pressure tasks that I need to have done in a certain amount of time, and I like to go through them so that I haven't missed out on anything, basically. Yes, I have been talking a lot, so I actually have a mix of elderflower cordial and tonic water in my little flask here so that it keeps cool. It's one of my favorite kind of little special drinks to have during the summer, is tonic with elderflower. Okay, I could talk a lot more about that, but I'm gonna try and refrain because I think we're reaching the 40-minute mark on this video very soon. Actually, yes, on Thursday as well, I went to this little gig that my friend, my flatmate, was kind of doing the, what's it called, like, before the actual show, there's like an act, you know, it can either be a music act, but in this case, it was my friend reading poetry. So I went to that event on Thursday, and then the band is called Just Like Honey. They were giving out these stickers, so I of course grabbed one, and it's very pretty because it kind of has this like glittery look to it. And then this receipt was from one Taiwanese restaurant, and they just basically wrote down the receipt in like on paper rather than printing it out. So I thought that was sweet, and I asked if I can keep it. And then yesterday, my partner took me to a surprise movie, but I had guessed, and I had written down here what I would guess the movie is gonna be, and it was The Inside Out, as I had correctly then guessed. We really like little silly animated movies, so I had known that, like, I had just guessed that he's gonna take me to see Inside Out, and because we both really loved the first one that came out 10 years ago. It's crazy. It's by it's by the Pixar studios, but I think Disney owns Pixar right now, so I think they're gonna put it on Disney Plus as well for anyone who might want to watch it. It's quite fun, and it was very much an important movie about emotions, so yeah, we had a fun time at that. My rating of 3 stars means that it was a good movie. I'm a very, very strict rater when it comes to movies and books, so 3 means that I really enjoyed it. I loved the movie, I enjoyed watching it, I had a good time. That's 3 stars. Anything below that is if there was something that I just did not like about it. And if it was just outright horrible, I would rate it 1 star. 4 stars is like if I enjoyed it beyond just the experience. If there was something in the cinematography, the character building, the storytelling, that was just groundbreaking, I will rate it 4 stars. And then if it was the best movie of my life, something that changed me as a person, something that changed the way that my life is going to unfold going on from that point, that will be 5 stars. And I think with that really strict rating system, I can really easily differentiate between the movies that I've seen and how I felt about them. Yeah. So just some ephemera, basically, on this spread here. Once again, a little task that I did do. Okay. That was actually nice to go through the week here, so that simultaneously I was able to go through the tasks that I had set for myself and mark them all off. I did well to complete all of them, so yeah. And here we are finally, today on Sunday. It is now almost 5 p.m, so I think it's been about 40 minutes-ish of having a good chat with you guys. I enjoyed doing some layering, and this is a similar style of drawing that I did, I think, a few weeks back now, and I actually did it on video. At least that's what I remember. And I really liked how it looked, so I made another one of those squiggles. Ah, here we go. Yeah, I really liked how this came out, so I made another one of these squiggles just now, and just pasted it kind of coming on from this margin into the next page. And I think tomorrow I'm gonna try to have my kind of ephemera or whatever I collect from Monday just about here, and then it kind of creates a nice flow through the spread. Yes, okay, I think that sums up everything for today. I'm a bit out of breath because I usually don't talk straight for, like, I don't usually talk for 40 minutes straight. I have little breaks here and there, but I had a lot to tell you, so yes. My common pen and I will be signing off now. I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening first doing some flashcards for studying. Then I'm gonna draw a card for my friend because I'm gonna go on a little evening walk with her because it's her birthday today. So I'm gonna draw a card for her and do a little letter at the back, which is my tradition with all of my friends. I draw a card for them and then I write a letter at the back. So I'm gonna do that, and that will be the end of the week. Then we just have one more week of very, very, very intense studying. Let me actually go to my weekly page, which is a bit of a mess with lots of things. Yeah, so this is this week, and next week is the last week before my first exam on Friday. Kinds of Kindness was the name of the movie that I mentioned earlier, or tried to remember. Yeah, so on Friday I have my first exam, so this is the last week of intense revision. And then Saturday is gonna be Stationery Fest, and Sunday is gonna be my mid-year Techo Kaigi, so a little conversation on what my system is gonna be for the next half a year. And in that video, that is gonna be part 3 of changing books as well. I will be changing over this cover, this plastic cover that I use for my next avec, as well as I'm gonna be putting it in this black cover. And it's just gonna be a whole video of change. So we'll be talking through that together next Sunday. So I think until then, have a good one, have a good week. I hope that it will treat you very kindly, and just yes. I'm running out of words, so I think that's a good point to say goodbye, and see you next Sunday.